Hi everyone. Today I'm going to do my best to give you some alternative responses to being told thank you by an American English speaker. Because you're welcome is not the only way that you can respond. But it is one way. You're welcome is a common response. When a Canadian or American English speaker says thank you to you, if you were to respond with, "You're welcome," that is totally fine, totally reasonable, it is normal, and it's okay. You could also say, if you're feeling particularly thankful that you've been thanked, you could say, "You are most welcome." That's a nicer way to respond than "you're welcome." "You're welcome" is pretty typical. You're most welcome, or "you are most welcome," or "you are truly welcome" is a little something extra, and it will be appreciated. An alternative response is to say, "My pleasure," or "the pleasure was mine." "The pleasure was mine" is more formal than if you were to say, "My pleasure." "My pleasure" is a common response, and it's informal, and I like it a lot. Another option, which is informal, is to say anytime, which implies that you're willing to do that again. So be careful with saying anytime, because you might be asked again to do whatever you just did that got you the thank you in the first place. To say all good is not bringing with it that implication that you're willing to do it anytime. But it is an informal, kind response to thank you. All good. Another option is to say no problem, or no worries, or that's all right. Now, that's all right is a bit different. It isn't a rude thing to say, but it is sort of suggesting that you're okay with it, whatever it is, and not necessarily as thrilled as if you were to, for example, say "you are most welcome." So while you can say that's all right, it doesn't carry with it the same level of politeness. Be warned. Another option is to say "don't mention it." "Don't mention it" just means you don't have to thank me. It's basically like saying "don't worry about it," but it's an alternative way of saying that. Or you could say "forget about it." That's a similar statement to "don't mention it." Or you could say "you'd do the same for me," which essentially means that whatever it is that you're being thanked for is something that the other person would have done for you as well. So you're simply saying that. Maybe you help them move, for example, and you know that they would help you move, and so you're just responding by saying, "you'd do the same for me." You're essentially saying that it's something that you both expect of one another. Another option, interestingly, is to say "thank you" back. So you can imagine you're in a situation where someone says to you "thank you," and then you respond and you say "thank you." That is an interesting response. You might be wondering how that could possibly make sense, but an example would be perhaps you were invited to a dinner party, and at the end of the evening, the person who invited you is saying "thank you for coming," and in response you're saying "thank you" back because you appreciated the invitation. You had a great time, it was fun, and you are really happy with how it went, so you're thanking them back. Or you could say "no, thank you." That's an even more intense way of thanking them back and expressing that you appreciate that they also did something nice for you in this circumstance. Another response, which is often said by people who are operating a business when they're thanked, is "we appreciate your business." So in that, you're basically saying thanks for coming to our business and being our customer. And so you're saying "we appreciate your business" in response to the thank you that you just received. Another informal potential response is to say "sure," that one is also one that doesn't carry with it a great deal of implied appreciation, so be careful with that one. But you can say it. It is said. Someone says thank you to you, you say sure, but it's less common, although it is done. It was nothing is essentially saying no big deal. These are very similar statements, but it was nothing or no big deal are basically saying it's nothing you need to be thanking me for. You don't even need to thank me for this. It was nothing. And the last one, this is one of my favorites. I like this one a lot because usually it is the case when I am thanked personally. I would say to the person, I'm happy to help. And that carries with it a clear message that I liked helping you and I would do it again. I hope this video helps you. Now you know that saying you're welcome is not the only option. Don't be afraid to say you're welcome in response to people saying thank you to you. As I said at the beginning of the video, it's a perfectly reasonable response to being thanked, but now you have some additional ways to respond. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the rest of today.